Halo Sobat Exploring Herbal, kembali lagi dengan saya Herbalis Kartika. Nah, pada seri kali ini kita kembali akan membahas terkait minyak atsiri. Jadi, video ini diperuntukkan khususnya untuk mahasiswa kuliah aromaterapi yang saya ajar sebagai pendahuluan sebelum kuliah tatap muka, itu. Jadi, pada video kali ini, seperti sebelumnya, materinya mulai dari pengenalan asal tanaman, kemudian dari proses ekstraksi atau proses produksi minyaknya, lalu melihat kualitas minyak, termasuk pula untuk melihat efektivitas dan keamanan. Di video kali ini mungkin agak sedikit berbeda dari sebelumnya. Saya tidak akan memaparkan sendiri begitu ya secara langsung, namun melalui video yang saya siapkan dalam bahasa Inggris, sekaligus untuk membiasakan mahasiswa menyimak gitu ya dan memahami materi dalam bahasa Inggris. Ada dua video yang akan diputar. Pertama yaitu seputar masih dasar-dasar dari asal tanaman, kemudian mengenal ciri-ciri tanaman, mengenal proses standar isolasi dari minyak atsiri, kemudian mengenal jenis-jenis kualitas minyak atsiri berdasarkan sumber, termasuk sedikit nanti di akhir ada informasi terkait keamanan. Oke, tanpa berlama-lama kita mulai saja video yang pertama.
Today, we're diving into the incredible story of one of the world's most recognizable spices, clove. We're going to follow its journey from a tiny bud on a tree all the way to that potent essential oil we all know. So, let's jump right in.
You know that distinct, warm, and kind of spicy smell, right? It's so familiar. You find it in everything from holiday baking to your toothpaste. But have you ever really stopped to think about the story behind that simple scent? Where does it actually come from?
Well, the story doesn't start in a lab or some factory. It all begins with a very specific and pretty remarkable tree. See, this isn't just about a spice, it's about a powerful natural resource that people have been using for centuries. So, to really understand the oil, first we've got to get to know the plant itself. Let's meet the source of it all, the clove tree. Okay, its formal, kind of fancy name is Syzygium aromaticum. And it's an impressive evergreen, you know? It can get up to 10 meters tall. That's about 32 feet. It belongs to the Myrtaceae family, which is the same family as other plants you've probably heard of, like eucalyptus and allspice. What's so cool here is that basically every single part of this tree plays a role. You've got these glossy, oval-shaped leaves, and if you looked really closely, you could see tiny oil glands right on them. Then there are the flowers, which grow in these little clusters. And it's their buds, the ones that turn from green to red when they're mature, that become the famous spice. But, as we're about to find out, the stem and the leaves are just as important to our story. Okay, so we've got the tree, but how do we get from a leaf or a flower bud to that little bottle of essential oil? Well, that's the next leg of our journey. It's a really careful three-step process. First up is the harvest. The leaves are simply gathered up after they naturally fall. But the buds and stems, they need perfect timing. They're hand-picked when the flower buds are full, but right before they open up. Then comes the prep work. Everything is separated out and carefully dried away from direct sun. And finally, the magic happens. It's called steam distillation. They use steam to basically vaporize the oil right out of the plant, and then it's cooled and collected as pure essential oil.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. That single tree, Syzygium aromaticum, it doesn't just make one type of clove oil. No, it actually gives us 3 distinct oils, and it all depends on which part of the plant you distill.
So here's the most important point. You can get oil from the flower bud, from the stem, or from the leaf. And even though they all come from the exact same tree and have that clove identity, they are absolutely not the same thing. This chart breaks it all down for us. You can see the physical differences right away. Clove bud oil is lighter in color, while the stem and leaf oils are a bit darker, more of a yellow to light brown. But the most important difference, well, that's chemical. We're talking about the eugenol content. Eugenol is the main active compound that gives clove that characteristic scent and its powerful properties. And this chart really drives that point home. I mean, look at it. While all 3 are rich in eugenol, the oil from the flower bud consistently has the highest concentration. It can get all the way up to 95%. This is exactly why clove bud oil is often considered the highest quality for a lot of uses. It's just the most potent. Knowing these differences is absolutely key because it dictates how these oils are used and, just as important, what precautions we need to be taking. So on one hand, clove oil is a powerhouse. It's used because it's antimicrobial. It's great for masking other odors. It's used as a fragrance. It's even used for skin conditioning. But on the other hand, that high eugenol content means you have to be careful. It can be a skin allergen for people with sensitive skin, which is why it's used in very, very low concentrations in things like food and cosmetics. Oh, and it's a definite no-no during pregnancy. It's really all about a balanced, informed approach to using it. So behind one of the world's most familiar smells is this incredible story of biology, chemistry, and just plain careful craftsmanship. The next time you smell clove, maybe you'll wonder, is this the potent stuff from the flower bud, the woody note from the stem, or maybe the green hint of a leaf? It's a simple scent with a truly complex story.
Bagaimana video yang pertama? Apa bisa disimak dengan baik? Kalau tidak, silahkan bisa diputar kembali gitu ya, supaya semua materi yang disampaikan melalui video tersebut dapat dipahami. Nah, berikut untuk yang sudah selesai di video pertama, kita akan masuk di video kedua. Nah, video kedua ini saya ambil dari sebuah materi atau literatur ya yang lebih baru dari sebelumnya. Jadi di sini akan berfokus terkait teknik ekstraksi minyak atsiri yang mungkin sudah dipilih ya, sudah dibanding-bandingkan bahwa ini adalah metode isolasi minyak atsiri dari minyak cengkeh yang mungkin menghasilkan rendemen paling tinggi. Kemudian fokus ke pemanfaatan minyak cengkeh tersebut tidak hanya dari sisi medis atau kesehatan, namun juga dari sisi pangan gitu ya di industri makanan. Oke, tanpa berlama-lama, kita simak saja videonya.
You know that warm, spicy scent, right? It probably makes you think of holiday baking or, let's be real, maybe even a trip to the dentist. It's the unmistakable smell of clove. But that familiar spice is so much more than just a flavor. We're about to dig into how the powerful oil from this tiny flower bud is absolutely packed with incredible scientific potential. So, let's just ask this. What if that same spice you have in your kitchen cabinet is literally the key to making our food last longer, developing powerful new medicines, and maybe even helping in the fight against cancer? Today, we are diving deep into the science of clove essential oil, or what we'll be calling CO. So, what even is clove essential oil? Well, simply put, it's the super concentrated aromatic liquid that gets pulled from the flower buds of the Syzygium aromaticum tree. Think of it like this. It's the pure, potent soul of the clove, where all its most powerful compounds are hiding. And look, this isn't some weird fringe science we're talking about. The FDA itself has given clove essential oil its generally recognized as safe classification, or GRAS, and that is a really big deal. It means this stuff is already widely accepted for use in food, cosmetics, and medicine, which just paves the way for all the amazing applications we're about to talk about. Okay, so the magic of clove oil, it isn't really magic at all. It's just brilliant chemistry. All of its incredible properties come from this team of specific bioactive compounds all working together. So let's go ahead and meet the team. So when you look at the chemical breakdown, one compound just completely steals the show. You see that massive slice, making up about 75% of the oil? That's a molecule called eugenol. It is the undisputed star, the team captain. But as you're about to see, those other players are incredibly important too. All right, eugenol. This is the main active ingredient, the heavy lifter. Chemically, it's called a phenopropanoid, which, don't worry, is just a fancy name for a type of organic compound plants make to defend themselves. It's what gives clove its classic smell and taste, but way more importantly, it's the source of almost all of the oil's powerful biological effects. And what a list of superpowers it has! I mean, eugenol is a total powerhouse. It fights off microbes, it acts as an antioxidant to neutralize cell damage, it calms down inflammation, and it has pain-relieving properties. That's exactly why clove oil has been the go-to home remedy for toothaches for, ever. And as we'll get into, that potential anti-cancer activity is a huge area of modern research. But eugenol doesn't work alone. No way. It's got a supporting cast, a couple of teammates called sesquiterpenes. The two key players here are beta-caryophyllene and alpha-hemulene. They might not be there in huge amounts, but believe me, they pack a serious punch. And here's the crucial part. These supporting compounds basically amplify everything the oil does. They bring their own anti-inflammatory and anti-tumor abilities to the table, they boost the overall antioxidant power, and they even give the oil its ability to work as a natural bug spray. I mean, it's a perfect example of chemical teamwork, right?
Okay, so we know what's inside the oil, we know it's powerful, but how do we actually get it out of the clove bud? Because it turns out the method you use to extract it is totally key to how good the final product is.
You can basically break it down into two approaches. You've got the old-school traditional methods like steam distillation. They've been used for ages, and they work, but they're slow and they use a ton of energy. And then you have the new school, advanced methods like microwave-assisted extraction that are just total game changers, making the whole process way faster and more efficient.
And this chart just lays it all out perfectly. Look at this. The traditional way can take around 4 hours to finish. 4 hours! But with a microwave-assisted method, you get a similar amount of oil in just 1 hour. That is 4 times more efficient, which makes producing this stuff on a large scale actually practical.
So, now that we have a super efficient way to get this high-quality oil, here's the fun part. What can we actually do with it? Well, one of the most exciting fields is in the food industry, where it's being seen as a revolutionary natural preservative.
Let's just take baked goods, for example. We all know mold is the #1 enemy of fresh bread. Well, studies are showing that clove oil can stop common molds in their tracks and extend the shelf life of bread by up to 15 days. That is a fantastic natural alternative to all those synthetic chemical preservatives.
And you think it stops with bread? No way. It's just as amazing with meat and seafood. It can add almost 2 extra weeks to the shelf life of chicken and fish in the fridge. And for some cured meats, it can help preserve them for up to 45 days. It's a double whammy. It slows down bacterial growth, and it stops the fats from going rancid. It even stops those nasty little black spots from showing up on shrimp. The sheer versatility is what gets me. It can protect fruit like persimmons and mangoes from going bad for weeks, but here is the really futuristic part. Scientists are now embedding clove oil directly into biodegradable films. What they're creating is active packaging that is constantly fighting off microbes, keeping the food inside safer for way longer. How cool is that?
As incredible as it is for our food, the potential applications for our own health are maybe even more mind-blowing. So let's really zoom in on the specific biological actions that make clove oil such a hot topic in medical research.
First up, its power against microbes. The compounds in clove oil, especially our friend eugenol, are drawn to fats. That means they can wiggle their way right into the fatty cell walls of bacteria and fungi, basically punching holes in them and destroying the pathogen from the inside out.
Okay, next, antioxidants. Clove oil is an absolute champion at neutralizing things called free radicals. These are nasty, unstable molecules that bounce around causing damage to our cells. It's a process called oxidative stress, and it's linked to aging and a ton of diseases. The compounds in clove oil can swoop in, calm them down, and protect our cells from harm.
It's also a surprisingly effective natural insecticide. Clove oil works as both a repellent and a larvicide, meaning it keeps bugs away and stops their young from growing. It's effective against pests like mosquitoes, fleas, even aphids, offering a much more eco-friendly way to deal with them. And the research is showing it has antiviral activity too. Studies have shown it can put the brakes on viruses like herpes simplex and influenza A. But get this, some lab studies have even looked at eugenol as something that could potentially slow down the replication of HIV-1. It just shows you how broad its potential really is. And this is where that traditional wisdom really meets modern science. We know it works as an analgesic to relieve pain, but it's also an anesthetic. It actually numbs tissue. And studies have shown its effects are comparable to the local anesthetic lidocaine. As an anti-inflammatory, its ability to reduce swelling has been shown to be on par with diclofenac, which is a common prescription anti-inflammatory gel. And finally, we get to its incredible potential in cancer research. Now, it's important to say this is still early research, but numerous lab studies have shown that compounds in clove oil can trigger something called apoptosis. That's basically programmed cell death in various cancer cells, all while being much less toxic to our normal, healthy cells. That makes it an incredibly exciting area for future study. From keeping our food fresh to potentially helping us fight our most serious diseases, the science of clove oil is just this powerful reminder of the incredible chemistry that's hidden all around us in the natural world. It really makes you stop and wonder, if all this power is locked inside one tiny, familiar flower bud, what other secrets are out there, just waiting for us to rediscover them?
Oke, apa sudah bisa dipahami isi dari kedua video tersebut? Kalau belum, silahkan bebas untuk mengulang kembali ya. Nah, untuk bahan evaluasi gitu ya, untuk mengevaluasi diri apakah sudah dipahami atau belum materi dari kedua video tersebut. Jadi di sesi berikutnya ini akan ada 10 pertanyaan atau 10 ini ya, ada kuis gitu untuk mahasiswa maupun untuk kalangan umum yang ikut menonton video ini. Apakah kiranya dari tadi sudah menonton video tersebut, apa sudah dipahami materi terkait minyak atsiri, khususnya minyak cengkeh ini? Ayo kita lihat soal yang pertama. Nah, jadi kali ini kita masuk ke sesi pertanyaan ya, ada 10 pertanyaan. Tanpa berlama-lama, kita langsung saja ke pertanyaan pertama. Nah, di sini ditanyakan sumber minyak cengkeh gitu ya, yang khususnya nanti hasil akhir minyak itu punya kegunaan sebagai skin conditioning dan tonik. Nah, petunjuk soalnya adalah perhatikan daftar kegunaan yang berbeda untuk minyak yang dihasilkan setiap bagian tanaman. Kemudian soal yang kedua, menurut tabel spesifikasi, mana bagian tanaman cengkeh yang menghasilkan minyak dengan rentang kandungan eugenol tertinggi. Jadi, eugenol ini adalah senyawa yang dijadikan sebagai acuan standar kualitas dari minyak cengkeh. Nah, kita harus lihat hasil akhir dari masing-masing minyak bagian tanaman ini yang punya nilai presentasi maksimum eugenol itu bagian yang mana, gitu ya. Kemudian soal nomor 3, untuk memperoleh mutu yang baik, kapan waktu pemanenan kuncup bunga cengkeh yang paling ideal? Nah, ini kualitas minyak cengkeh dari kuncup gitu ya, sangat ditentukan oleh tahap perkembangan bunga sebelum mekar. Tadi sudah ada ya di video. Kemudian nomor 4, manakah di antara jenis minyak cengkeh berikut yang dideskripsikan memiliki warna tidak berwarna hingga kuning muda? Nah, tadi juga sudah diperlihatkan seperti apa penampilan fisik dari minyak yang bersumber dari kuncup bunga, daun, hingga batang. Oke, kita lanjut. Yang kelima yaitu metode ekstraksi yang disebutkan untuk memproduksi minyak cengkeh. Nah, ini ada banyak metode ekstraksi yang memungkinkan untuk produksi minyak cengkeh. Nah, khususnya yang mungkin paling banyak digunakan karena hasilnya paling banyak, ya, kualitasnya paling baik, itu adalah yang mana? Nah, clue-nya adalah jenis ekstraksi ini gitu ya, memanfaatkan panas dan air dalam bentuk gas untuk memisahkan minyak dari bahan tanaman. Nah, tentu sudah jelas sekali ya, mana yang jenis ekstraksi panas dan ada penggunaan air dalam bentuk gas. Oke, kemudian soal nomor 6, berdasarkan data keamanan, kondisi yang dikontraindikasikan atau yang tidak direkomendasikan menggunakan minyak cengkeh. Nah, yang mana? Kemudian soal nomor 7. Nah, asal tanaman cengkeh itu family atau keluarganya dari mana gitu ya. Jadi kita perlu tahu dulu tadi nama Latin yang kita nanti bisa telusuri ke klasifikasi botaninya. Nanti akan dilihat dalam family apa minyak cengkeh ini atau tanaman cengkeh ini. Kemudian soal nomor 8. Senyawa yang merupakan komponen utama dari minyak atsiri cengkeh gitu ya, setidaknya ketika nanti produk minyaknya itu mengandung minimal 50% gitu ya dari senyawa ini yang mana. Nah, senyawa ini juga bertanggung jawab atas sebagian besar aroma khas dari cengkeh dan aktivitas biologi utamanya. Lalu soal nomor 9, bagaimana mekanisme kerja utama minyak cengkeh sebagai agen antimikroba, gitu ya. Tadi di video juga sudah ada diilustrasikan seperti apa mekanisme kerjanya. Nah, yang perlu kita pikirkan di sini yaitu bagaimana senyawa yang larut dalam minyak, seperti dalam minyak cengkeh, itu dapat berinteraksi dengan lapisan luar sel, sehingga dapat masuk ke dalam sel dan merusak tubuh dari mikroba tersebut. Kemudian soal nomor 9. Ini cengkeh juga punya efek analgesik atau pereda nyeri. Efek analgesik dari pereda nyeri dan anestesi lokal gitu ya, dari eugenol dimediasi oleh mekanisme yang mirip dengan obat apa. Clue-nya adalah dari list-list jawaban mana obat pembanding yang dimaksud itu adalah dari golongan anestesi lokal yang umum digunakan dalam prosedur medis dan kedokteran gigi. Itu sudah jelas sekali ya, karena pada pilihan jawaban itu hanya ada satu jenis anestesi lokal. Sisanya ada antibiotik, kemudian pereda nyeri dari golongan NSAID maupun dari yang lain gitu ya. Jadi bisa dicek mana yang anestesi lokal. Oke, ini 10 pertanyaan. Saya harap bisa dijawab dengan baik ya. Oke, kita sudah sampai di tahap akhir. Jadi, bersama-sama kita sudah menyimak 2 video yang terkait dengan minyak cengkeh. Kemudian juga ada latihan soal yang terdiri dari 10 soal. Nah, untuk yang belum yakin ya jawabannya betul atau tidak, di deskripsi video ini saya akan masukkan jawaban dari 10 soal tersebut, termasuk juga link untuk mengakses pustaka yang digunakan pada materi kali ini. Semoga video ini bermanfaat untuk para penonton, baik itu mahasiswa maupun kalangan umum yang tertarik dengan minyak cengkeh. Semoga dapat dipahami materi yang disampaikan pada video kali ini. Silahkan kalau ada yang ingin bertanya, mengutarakan komentar, kritik, dan saran, bisa dicantumkan di kolom komentar. Sampai sini dulu untuk video kali ini. Jangan lupa like, komen, dan subscribe. Terima kasih.